Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Just Saying Football with Jack and Sean. I'm your host, Sean Gann, alongside my partner, Jack and Nicholas. We're here to bring you news, notes, weekly updates, and game analysis of your favorite teams from around the league. If you have the chance, go check out our website, justsayingfootball.com. Follow us on Instagram at JustSayingNoGWJS for article and video updates. And don't forget us in your ears on Spotify. And check out our betting page on the Discord at Just Saying Football. We're here with another special one as we're going into interviews and teams, and we're here with one of our friends of the show and good friends of ourselves, huge Cowboys fan. Christian, how you doing, buddy? How you doing?
How's it going? Thank you for having me on. I always look forward to speaking with you guys. Not so much speaking about the Cowboys this year, but let's get started.
Haven't seen much from the Cowboys. We were talking about it a little off camera. So what are you thinking right now as a Cowboys fan, and what do you think that they should do?
Well, I think going into free agency, going into now this season, I had no expectations whatsoever. I thought it was the biggest waste of my time to even look at anything. And then they restructured CD's contract. They restructured Dak's contract, which I think gave them like $56 million in cap space, I believe. So then that kind of was like, oh, all right, like they might do something. Maybe, who knows? Jerry Jones might make a splash. I think 3 days, maybe 4 days, so whatever it is has gone by. And I don't think we've spent more than $3 million on a player besides a long snapper and then Devontae Turpin, who I love. And I'm glad he's coming back, but they need a lot more, especially when you hire a coach that wasn't even calling plays as an offensive coordinator last year, but then he's now a head coach and is going to be calling plays. And it's just not ideal. I think it's going to be another wasted season, and I believe Cowboy fans all over should boycott and not go to Jerry's World and not wear Cowboys stuff and just really stick it to him. Maybe make him run low on fuel of his helicopter and his yacht, and then maybe something will change, but who knows?
Well, that leads us honestly to a very good point, which is it time for Jerry to give up control? It just seems like he's not utilizing the cap space. I'm assuming all this extra cap space is for Micah, honestly. If they're not going to spend on free agents, you have to just extend Micah, right? So is it time for Jerry to relieve that duty of basically full control?
I mean, I think that time was about 5 years ago, I would say. Maybe even longer ago. I do think, yes, a strong part of that will be going to Micah, but he's even said it multiple times that if they're willing to get players around him and the rest of the team, like he said he doesn't need to be the highest paid player in his position. Now, does he actually mean that? Who knows? I mean, all players are different. Not many players actually come out and say that, though. For him to say that even months ago on multiple different podcasts, I kind of do believe it, that he truthfully just wants to win. He's a winner. He wants to win. I think I think a lot of the Cowboys players now seeing the Eagles win twice in the last decade, it's just really showing them that, like, why can't we do it? Why the Lions turn their season around in 2 years, and what's stopping them from doing that? And I think a lot of that is the management of the team, the players, the money, and everything. So I think CD said it. He said, I'm not going to be able to do this. We're not going to win alone. So he restructured his deal. Dak, I mean, I get it. He earned his money. He did. It was just how the market was at the time, and you really didn't have a choice. Jerry screwed himself on that, as he has now with Micah, with Max Crosby getting his deal, and then now Myles Garrett being the highest paid player in his deal. If he wants to be the highest,
and Jamar Chase about to be the highest paid.
Yeah, I was going to say Trey Hendrickson. Just a bad year for a pass rusher to need to be re-signed by you guys, especially like your best player out there. You know, it's like that he's going to command $40 million a year, and you guys got 50, like you said. So, like Sean said, it could really be focused to Micah. But all these guys, you know, if you think Myles Garrett, I really thought he was going to get traded. I kind of think the same with Micah, but I feel like it'll just turn right into a deal. I gotta ask you though. Every year you always point out like great players from the Cowboys that just kind of don't get enough shine. Is there anybody you'd want to give a little bit of shine to? Is there like a 2025 Christian guy? Is there kind of like a overshown this year? Is there somebody that you want to shed some light
Um, Sadly, I don't think so. Sadly,
That's rough. That's rough.
I usually
on? When
do
Christian
have
doesn't
one.
even have a guy.
Jake Ferguson was my big guy last year. I thought he was going to have a great year. He was terrible, awful, didn't even get a touchdown. Had him on fantasy. Told Liv to draft him for his fantasy team. She won her fantasy league, but she was not happy about him. And just DeMarvion Overshown, I think he is going to be great again. He's already made great strides in his physical therapy and his progress getting back. I've seen videos of him doing workouts where he's doing squats with one leg and putting full weight on his knee. And I think he's one. I think he proved last year when he played that he is a force to be reckoned with. And if he's on your defense, he's going to be a problem maker. And like if you have him, Micah, and whoever else they get, I think that could be really good. But in terms of anyone else, no, I don't see anyone. I really don't. And again, the draft hasn't happened yet. That's when I really kind of.
That's fair.
That's when you find your guys.
That third round gem.
Yeah, they're going to be the ones that I pick out of like, I think they have a lot of potential. But yeah, no one right now whatsoever.
Dang. That was not the answer I was expecting at all.
You always expect there to be something. So let's go from players to coaches now. You mentioned him a little bit ago, Brian Schottenheimer. He's hired as a head coach. His staff right now, it's Matt Eberflus is the defensive coordinator. Obviously, Matt Eberflus, former head coach of the Bears, notorious for this previous season. And then Sorensen, who was just fired as San Francisco's defensive coordinator as a special teams coach. Do you think, like, we're talking about the players and everything, is this the staff that can build to a winning team?
No. No.
Right.
I mean, who knows? We could all be wrong. We all could be completely wrong. But how I look at it is that there was so much hype of who the Cowboys were going to hire, and I've hated Mike McCarthy since the beginning. I'm thrilled he's gone. I'm very happy he's gone. But then to go to the person that was the offensive coordinator for your team the previous year, but had no responsibility in making any offensive play calls whatsoever, and then making him the head coach, I am just extremely curious in what this man actually did then last year. If he's the offensive coordinator and he didn't call any plays,
do you give him the benefit of the doubt?
What did he do? No, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I mean, he has football in his blood. He does.
He's a Schottenheimer.
And apparently
That's
Dak
true.
was a big supporter of him, and some of the players were big supporters of him. And a lot of them showed up to his press conference when they were announcing that he was going to be the guy. So, again, we don't know. We're not in that building. We don't
got
know.
the crystal ball.
It's just
That's
no
true.
one else was looking at him to remotely even hire him for probably even an offensive coordinator job. And then he becomes the coach of the Dallas Cowboys, which is a very coveted job. Well, it used to be and still should be, because the team is worth billions of dollars or whatever it is. And it's just kind of mind-boggling. Not so much that I wanted Deion Sanders to be the coach. I think he would have been the one to actually change the culture, which is needed, because the Cowboys have only ever had a yes man coach.
That's true.
Jason Garrett, my worst enemy. I like despise him, and then you go from him to Mike McCarthy, which again, he's just a clapper on the sideline. And will this guy be any different? No, I don't know. And they let what's his name, the cornerback coach go, Al Harris. Al Harris was a key point in that defense, and developed Trayvon Diggs. They developed Deron Bland. They developed the kid from last year who had to fill in for all of them. And it just, I mean, I don't know. I don't see anything positive with the coaching staff. I do like Matt Eberflus. I do like him running the defense. I think sticking him with Micah, I think that will be good. And I think rather than last year where they kind of tried to disguise a lot of plays and not just go after the quarterback and blitz, I think that's the Cowboys players' strong point. But again, they're gonna lose players again this year. I don't see DeMarcus Lawrence signing back to the Cowboys. I think he's gone. I loved him. He used to be the Tank. He had a shirt. Or he was the Tank.
Yeah, he's probably going. Although he has said he's wanted to stick around, but I don't see it happening either.
He's not gonna. He's 33, I believe, and I think it's gonna be a rough year. As I said, the last 2 years, including this year, I think will be the worst years as a Cowboys fan since I was born.
And you only finished 7-10 last year. You did win 4 out of the last 7 games. So with all the injuries and stuff, they started 3-7. So you have they obviously you like to see the team finish at the end. But now, like you mentioned off camera too, Rico Dowell's gone, 1,000-yard guy. You got a bunch of guys. It's going to be a big change. New coach. There's too much transition now to be confident. But I want to take you back to a good memory, right? I want you to give us your favorite Cowboy game memory because I know you got a lot of good ones.
One thing I will add to I also about the coaching staff and the players. This coaching staff maybe could do something, but I don't believe they can unless you add the players that they need. They can't do anything with the players they had last year. I think Brandon Dak and everyone got hurt and injured and barely played in the season. That is one thing to think about. But they need to do something in free agency and the draft and whatnot. But to get to that point, I've had a lot of times crying as a Cowboys fan since I was born. A majority of my time being a Cowboys fan has been that, especially playing the Packers. But I would say the best time I ever had was my first NFL game I ever went to. It was at MetLife. It was Giants-Cowboys. It was a game where Odell Beckham had his 3-finger catch. And then I believe, it wasn't overtime. It was the last minute of the game. Des Bryant caught the game-winning touchdown right in front of me. I have a video of it. Crowd went crazy. One of the coolest moments
Giants
ever.
gave Tony Romo 9 seconds to throw that ball.
I have a video of it. It's great.
All the time in the world.
Yeah, I was there with my brother. That was a good game. He's a Giants fan, so it was definitely a lifelong memory I will ever have. And then, I'd say that's about it. Besides the 40-0 route of the Giants 2 years ago, that was a good time.
And now you're just rubbing it in on Jack now. Now this isn't favorite games anymore. This is just
that was a good one too. It was raining. It was just a pour down on all the Giants fans, but the Giants
Monday night
a better year.
Brutal. All right, with all that in mind, 30 seconds. What's your message to other Cowboys fans out there?
Boycott Jerry's World. Don't wear any Cowboys stuff. Even if they trade Micah, I have no current Cowboy player jerseys. I would say stick it to the old man and make him realize he's become a little senile maybe, and just that it's time for change. They haven't won since I was born. I'm 28.
Well, I've never won, so hard for me to feel bad for you, honestly. But I do understand the sentiment. It's time to change. You heard it here, Jerry. That's all the time that we have. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Christian, we appreciate you coming on here talking some Cowboys. Who's having a rough offseason so far.
Let's win some bets this year.
I appreciate it as well, Christian. Yeah, we got some off-season stuff. If you see anything on the Cowboys, under futures, you let us know. We will We will ride those with you, absolutely. But thank you guys all for watching. Thank you, Christian, for being on the show. Just Saying Football, YouTube and Spotify. Make sure to get us in your ears. Make sure to check out our Discord, Just Saying Football, and all your updates at Instagram, Just Saying, no G, WJS. Thank you guys for watching.
Enjoy.